Chapter 1. A piercing wail cut through the heavy, humid air of the slave quarters. The cry of new life, amidst so much suffering, drew weary eyes and tentative hope. "Lord, have mercy," Mama Esther purred, her weathered hands trembling as she passed a damp cloth to the exhausted new mother. Rosa's entire world had narrowed to this moment. The tiny, perfect being nestled against her chest. Each labored breath still echoed in her ears. A hint of the struggle that had brought her daughter into the merciless world. Her fingers traced the delicate curve of Isabelle's cheek, skin softer than the finest cotton, more precious than any dream she'd ever dared to hold. What have I done? The thought crashed through her like a wave of raw, primal fear. I've brought a child into a world that will seek to break her spirit, to crush her before she can even understand the weight of her existence. Tears mixed with sweat on her cheeks. This child, her child, represented everything. Hope, defiance, survival. Her every tiny breath was an act of rebellion against the system that sought to define her before she could even speak. "My little Isabelle," she murmured, her voice barely audible, thick with a complex mixture of love, terror, and fierce maternal protection. "What kind of world have I brought you into?" Beneath the fear, though, a stronger fire burned, fueled by determination and hope. The mother's unwavering belief fueled her conviction that her child was destined for something greater than the chains that bound her. "You will survive," she thought, pressing a tender kiss to Isabelle's forehead. "Exceed their expectations. You will be more than they want. You will be free." The other women gathered close, offering quiet words of congratulation tinged with sorrow. They knew all too well the harsh reality that awaited the innocent child. Rosa closed her eyes, lips moving in silent prayer. "Lord, watch over my Isabelle. Give her strength. Give her hope. And someday, give her freedom." Isabelle learned early as a child that silence was survival, but knowledge was power. While others played in the dusty yard, she lingered by the windows of the big house when she could, listening. She memorized the way the master spoke in sharp, clipped tones when discussing money, the way the mistress softened when speaking of guests, the way they sealed business over brandy and hushed-tone agreements. She learned which guards were quick to anger, which ones were easily distracted, and which could be bribed with a well-placed flattery. At night, mother and daughter shared ancient stories of gods, warriors, and freedom. "You carry their blood, Isabelle," her mother had confided, pressing a hand to her chest. "Never forget that." That was the first time she had truly felt the hunger for something more. It lived in her bones, in the spaces between the stories she was told and the future she dreamed of. She wanted to be one warrior. Her mind flashed back to a moment recently. A quiet act of defiance, small but dangerous all the same. Isabelle, outside the house and on tiptoe, reached for a cooling biscuit, illuminated by the kitchen light. Lady Senna's heavy footsteps had faded down the hall, and the house servants kept their eyes low, pretending not to see. She gave a biscuit to the 6-year-old boy, Josiah, who was thin and hungry. His eyes widened in gratitude, but before he could whisper his thanks, the sharp voice of the cook cut through the air.